Today we're going to talk about the Modern Events Calendar plugin and what it does. So basically this plugin allows you to create events and display them on your website, in your posts or your pages. So in my case, I have quite a few musician clients that use it to advertise all of their gigs, all their live gigs. And I tried quite a few solutions and different plugins, and this one seemed to have the most polish and flexibility to do what I needed. The layout is clean and attractive, and the user interface is simple enough that the layperson or non-coder can understand it. So I'm just going to show you a quick example of what it looks like. Let's go to my friend Michelle's website here and scroll down, and we'll see it right here. So in this case, she has a bunch of events, and it sorts it by month. And then up at the top here, you can actually sort it by category if you're in different bands or different groups. There's other things you can use the categories for, but that's what we're using it for here. And then you have a search field right here. You can use to search for specific events. And then if you look at the events down here, you can hit the event detail, and it gives you a really nice, clean looking display of the event itself, the title, and then the description, and then the option to actually export it to Google Calendar or even Apple Calendar. It has a little timer that's clicking down until it starts. And or on the right here, we have the date, the time, the location, and the organizer. And then what's really neat here is you can share the event on social media as well. So it has social media integration. So yeah, so that's what it looks like. You can actually customize most of these things, but this is the way I've been using it so far. It seems to work the best in my opinion, but there are definitely other ways that you can use this plugin. So let's go to the back end here. So essentially, this is my dashboard logged into my WordPress, the back end of my WordPress site. And then we're going to go to ME Calendar. And then the first thing I like to do is I actually like to set up my categories first, because when you create an event, you have to assign it to categories. So I'm going to click Categories. And then let's add some categories. Let's assume this is an artist or a guitar player or something like that, and they want to, they have a few different bands that they play in. So let's just say the first band they play in is called Harbinger of Shroom. That sounds like a cool band name. And then parent category, if you want to create subcategories, you can use the parent category to add this to below another category. We can add a description here. We can create icons. We can select specific colors for them. But for the purposes here, let's just create a basic category. And then once we're done adding the name and all the details we want to add, we can hit Add New Category. So you can see it on the right-hand side here, the Harbinger of Shroom. So in case you're wondering what the slug is, this is the slug. The slug is not the slimy creature that's on the ground. It's actually what will be displayed in the bar at the top here, which is important for search engines. And if you want to give somebody the URL specifically, let's add another one. Let's call it Snuffleupagus. Yeah. And then add that one. And to make it a hat trick, let's do a third one. Let's say he has his solo work called, and his name is Blade Levinson. That seems like a pretty cool guitar name. I'm gonna add that. So now let's look at adding an event here, which is basically the whole reason why we're doing all this. So add event, we can add event from here if you want to see any existing events that are there. I like to do an add event from this location because it goes through the cool little wizard here. It's really kind of slick. So the event name, let's say Live in New York. It's Saturday night. Select color. Let's just leave that default. or we can do the recent colors here. You can color code your different events if you want. Then we're going to hit next. And then start date and time. So if it's Saturday night, let's start it on a Saturday, so the 14th. And not too many musical events start in the morning, so let's make it 8 p.m. And let's do it a 2-hour event, 10 p.m. Or I can set it to an all-day event if I wanted to. I can go back. In this case, I'm going to go next. And locations. Let's do a location here. We can go in and add a bunch of, if there's like preset locations that we'll be using all the time, we can pre-add them, or we can just add them while we're creating an event. So I'm going to hit add location. The location name, let's call it, let's see, what's a place near me? Dublin Crossing, like that. And the location, it's an actual place, so let me just look that up. Dublin Crossing. Can I just paste from here? Let's see if I can just grab the address quickly. Here it is, the address. Let's go back and add it there. Then hit next. And then the organizer, I don't typically use the organizer, but you can add the organizer who's organizing the event. I find that most people don't really care who the organizer is, but maybe there's reasons why people would care. So I'm going to hit next. And then what category do I want to do? Let's say it's Blade Levison on his own, not in his band, or I can actually do multiple at the same time. So that's going to organize. You can organize all your events by different categories. In this case, I'm using the groups that he's in, or I can add another category here. Hit next, and then I can do a write-up. This is a description of the event. All ages show. So no alcohol, blah, blah. Then we hit next. And we can do a featured image if we want. This is used depending on the type of display you use for events calendar. I'm just going to leave it blank here because I think the way I'm going to do this demo, it's not going to see the featured image, but we can add it here if we want to. And then we click the last button. Your event has been created. Great. So if I want to get out of this, I can create another event if I want. Let's do that. Let's create another event in a different category or something like that. So select a color. Let's do a green. Hit next. Oops, I forgot the event name. Let's call it, let's see. Shroom event. And let's do this next month. So we're going to go September, let's say Friday. And I notice it's selected the same times as before, which is great. So it's smart. Let's make it a little later. We'll go 10 to 11 p.m. Hit next. Oh, I have to set the end date. So that was the 3rd of September. There we go. Next. Location. Let's see. Let's think of a coffee house. Whitby's Coffee House. There we go. I believe it's getting it from my my contact list, so that's kind of cool. Let's see. It's not on Fraser Highway. Let me grab the location here, the address. Whitby's Coffee House. There we go. In White Rock. Let's grab the address. Come on now. There we go. All right, next. No organizer And it's a shroom event, so it must be Harbinger of Shroom. And blah, 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 times 5, just times 6, sure. Just make it a little different from the one before. Hit next. Set feature image, we'll leave that. Event has been created. Okay, so let's hit the X here to back out. And let's do a refresh here. There we go. So there are events, the list of events. So if we wanted to, say we had a whole bunch of events, we could sort by dates. We can sort by locations. We can basically, I shouldn't say sort, I should say filter by locations and stuff. And then filter by the specific band. Remember, you have to hit filter at the end there. And yep, so it just filtered that out. So this is our list of events. So let's maybe unfilter this. And then we can do a quick edit here and then adjust the various aspects of the event. But the most important thing, or one of the most important things, is getting it on the page. So let's do that next. Okay, so the question is, how do we get the events displayed on the page? Well, we do this by generating shortcodes. And what are shortcodes? Shortcodes are actually used not often, but occasionally in WordPress by plugins in order for the pages or posts to invoke a plugin on a specific part of the page or the post. And shortcodes usually look like text surrounded by brackets. So to generate, you'll notice over here, there's a section called shortcodes. So we're going to click that. And no shortcodes found, so we're going to create one. So add a shortcode. So we're going to go through the little wizard guy here. And what are we going to call it? We're going to call it events basic, I guess, for lack of a better term. And then we're going to hit next. And then there are a whole bunch of different types of views we can choose, which is really cool. But one of my personal favorites is just the list view. It's minimalistic. And then which version of this do we want? So of course I like minimalistic, so I'm going to do minimal. And you can always go back and change these two and experiment with different looks. Then I'm going to click next. And then single event display method. So if I want to open up a new window, a mode will pop up. We're in the current window. So I wouldn't suggest a new window, either a mode will pop up, and basically that means it's going to pop up in the screen, or you can have it show up in the current window. Michelle's, I believe, it was set to current window. Let's try mode will pop up in this case. Then we're going to hit next. Do I want it to include expired events? Usually not. I just want it to focus on the upcoming events. Show only expired events, show only ongoing events. So we're just going to leave it like this. And it says, this is my shortcode. So we can click copy here. And then our option is we can hit the close button up here to back out, or we can create a new shortcode. We can create different views for different sections of the pages. But let's start with this one. So we're going to back out of there. And I'm just going to do a refresh here because we have generated a shortcode, but it doesn't show up on the page yet because we need to refresh. And there it is, events basic. So with this in mind, how do we add this? I'm going to show you how to add it to a page using Nice Page. So let's go to pages and then all pages. And I'm going to add this to a block on my front page. So home is going to be my front page, and I'm going to hit edit with Nice Page. And it's going to open the Nice Page editor plugin. Just takes a moment here. Okay, so we've opened up our nice page editor here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually, these events kind of don't make sense for this website, but it doesn't really matter because it's just a demo. So let's create a block here. I'm going to create a blank block. So I'm going to hit block, and then I'm going to create blank right here. So here's our blank block, and it's inserted down at the bottom. Normally, if you want to advertise events, especially if they're events that are going to generate income and stuff like that, we probably want to move it up. So I'm just going to click and drag up here and move it up somewhere closer to the top, maybe right here. There we go. And so the block is empty, add element to the block. So let's just click plus, adding an element. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type short code right here. And we can see there's a short code element we can add. And I click that, and it's going to add the short code element. So this bounding box right here is where the events list is going to show up. Obviously, we don't want it to be kind of small and off to the left like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to center this, and we're going to change its size. So let's hit the line to the center. And then I'm going to make this bigger. Let's going to make it 750 pixels wide. Maybe a little wider than that. Let's maybe do 1,000. We want this large and in charge. And let's maybe make this bigger as well. It might not even matter. It might actually, the event list might stretch out. It might actually expand automatically depending on how many events we have. So, but just for the heck of it, I'm just going to do this 400 in height. And the other thing I probably want to do here is I probably want to add just like a header up here, just saying that what this is. I should say heading, not header. Heading. And let's do maybe heading 2. I'm not too sure how the hierarchy is on this page, but let's just do heading 2. And we'll call it upcoming events. Oops, events. All right. And let's see, what kind of margins do we have spacing between these? That's not bad. I usually like to go, I like lots of white space. So, so let's change this to 60, and let's do here, the top margin is 60 as well. Great. Okay, so how do we connect this to the Modern Events Calendar plugin? We enter the short code. So you probably saw over here when I was adjusting the margins that there's a short code spot. So all I have to do is paste that short code that we saw earlier into the short code box. And there we go. And then once we've done that, we can hit publish. It's already in the middle of an autosave, but I'm still going to hit publish here once he's done. Just to be safe. There we go. Once that's done, we'll do a preview and see how it looks. So preview. Let's do a quick preview here. It's the fastest. Okay, here's our page here, and I'll scroll down. Let's see how it looks. Let's see if it worked. All right. There we go. Upcoming events. I thought it was up higher than that, but I guess not. We can always move that. So upcoming events. So we see live in New York Saturday night, and it's saying Saturday and the location, and the Shroom event at Whippy's Coffee House. Let's check the event detail. And we set it as like a modular pop-up, so it just kind of popped up here. Probably can work with this the layout a little better, but these are the event details. And great, so that's how we add it to a page. So let's try to add it to a post. So let's go into our posts up here. Look at all our posts. Okay, so these are sort of dummy posts, but I'm just going to show you how to add it to a post because the procedure is a little different. So we're going to hit edit. So you might have different things for pages and different things for posts, but if you happen to have like a band page in that are using posts, this is the way we would do it. Okay, so we're going to add a block here and actually add it from here, add this block. And we can see up here, Modern Events Calendar is in here. And we're going to hit that. And then MEC ID 177, which is, it's choosing the default one. So we basically want to make sure that this is the same number that we created. And we only have one shortcode created in Modern Events Calendar. So this would be the correct one. Let's see, are there any other settings for this? Not really. So let's just preview that. Preview in a new tab. Make sure that it spits out the events calendar. Obviously, this is going to be kind of empty, but down here, as you can see, the Modern Events Calendar has been generated. And with the modular pop-up. Great, so that's working fine. So the last thing we want to do, you probably noticed that, let's preview again. You probably noticed that the Modern Events Calendar is showing blue. And the rest of our site is orange. So let's change that. And you can go into the settings of Modern Events Calendar and change what the colors are. So to do that, we go into MEC Calendar, and then there are settings here. And scroll down here. And so to adjust how the event details look, remember we looked at when the modular pop-up came up and it was kind of all mixed up. We can actually go in and edit that here. Just want to show you that. You can cruise through these settings. Don't be kind of careful for what you're doing. But you can usually just experiment and see what it does. Just remember what you did and undo it if it creates weird results. So for styling options, we wanted to change the color here. So the styling color scheme, predefined color scheme. So our web page is actually orange. So let's change that color to orange here, and then save changes. And let's go back and view our page and see if the colors change. So I went up here and clicked visit site. So this is our site, and we're going to scroll down. And as you can see, it's changed to orange. It's not the exact orange. We can completely customize to the correct orange if we want to, but this definitely looks more aligned to the color of orange that's on our site. So it looks like it's part of the website instead of being something completely separate. All right, so this is Modern Events Calendar. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out. Hope you have a great day, and stay tuned for some more videos on how to help you get going with your website. Bye now.